All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Signs of Life podcast, the SpeedPro-East Bay official podcast. This is our first episode, recording here at the shop after hours. My name is Zach, and I'm here with Ed Owens and Carrie Erickson, the owners of SpeedPro-East Bay, and my bosses. And we're just going to do a little intro episode here, learning about them and the sign industry some. So, first question is, obviously, Ed and Carrie, what made you get into the sign industry?
Well, we were super excited to start a new business and we really wanted to mix it up a little bit. I'd been working in corporate America. Ed had been a stay at home dad for 17 years. But we knew that if we were going to start this business and take the plunge, that it was probably going to be him full time and me part time initially. So it was really important that we hit on a business, whether we bought one or started one up, that really aligned with what he liked to do. So Ed being a master carpenter, jack of all trades as it comes to photography, a large equipment aficionado, just a maker. At the end of the day, he's a maker and had a great network in our community of people that he could potentially serve. So when we looked at different businesses to either start up or buy, the Speed Pro franchise really hit on all of his interest areas. So we investigated it more and talked to a lot of owners in the network, and they just seemed really, we had a kinship with them in terms of them having a very similar background to us, coming from corporate, going into entrepreneurialism. And so we just took the plunge and haven't looked back 10, 11 years later.
So it was more like it was a cool, neat way. It wasn't like actual interest in signage, but it was more of the overall business and something like that. And then you just so making signs and in the beginning there, what was like one of the cool or biggest obstacles you had when you were first starting out there?
After we learned how things worked in the sign shop, how the machines ran, that kind of thing. That was the first big challenge. But then as we moved along, the biggest, I guess, change is the way Google works. And a lot of our business comes through the website. So we had to learn how Google works, how search engine optimization works, and that kind of thing. And we found that to become the most important aspect of our sales is coming through the web. How do we optimize the web to best sell our product?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Ed that those were some of the most significant challenges we had early on. And in fact, the Google challenge continues to this day as they introduce AI and change up their whole search algorithms and that sort of thing. But just building off that, I think getting the right staff was a challenge early on because nobody really learns how to be a sign maker in school. There's no trade school that you can go to hire people with skills. So you're really either looking for folks who are at other sign shops and weren't really happy there, which kind of is a challenge to hire disgruntled employees, or you're training people up and learning as you go. So I think early on that was a challenge to be able to get the right folks in the shop working with us. Once we were able to accomplish that, then it made life a lot easier.
That's good. And so the next thing, you've been doing this for about 10 years now, you guys at the shop. So over the 10 years, a lot of things changed, especially technology. Have you seen like, was there art styles or trend that were really popular? You were seeing like a lot of people start getting a certain type of sign or wanting a certain type of, design that was like popping because now, we get a lot of AI stuff, you can tell that it's made and people get more creative with what they want printed up and on their designs.
I don't know. I haven't seen so much different designs as just really explosion of different materials that we can be printing on. And as the equipment has improved, it's enabled us to make more intricate signs in terms of the way they're cut, the way they're layered, three-dimensional type signs. But I don't know. How about you, Ed? Have you seen something new in design itself?
Well, I see that design is becoming more, I don't know, more like really modern, but to me it's like flatter. Even the raised lettering is kind of flat. It's not like neon and some of the the really old style materials, shaped tin and things like that. And part of that is that, neon's very specialized. And we have one guy we work with who does neon. It's also very expensive, so people don't want to get into it. Whereas we work in these more modern materials, it's a little less expensive than some of the classier
Right,
stuff.
and I've just noticed that too. Just over the years, you see like older signs, like the flower shop here in Alameda, and
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
had the old. And then now, like you said, people are going to more of a minimalist style, and
yeah,
just give me something with letters on it. It doesn't have to be lit up and all showy.
yeah,
Or,
yeah.
what is your favorite kind of sign to make for a customer? What, like, when you request, you really love to do
For me, it's wall murals.
wall murals?
I like doing wall murals. They're big. It can it can be anything. It can be photographs. It can be art. It can be all kinds of things. But I just like the big that big. That's our motto. Great big graphics, big bold things. You walk into a room, like if people walk into our shop, they see the giant murals we have on both sides of the walls. People stand up there and look with their mouths open. How big that is? How'd you do that?
Right.
How wide is your printer that it can print something 25 feet wide? That kind of thing. So those are the ones that I get the most enjoyment.
And they really change the aesthetic or the feeling in a room when you put a big wall mural up. It takes it just to the whole other level, whether you're doing it for a restaurant to try to get folks to sort of be more in the mood for ordering food, or you're doing it in an office environment to give the employees a bit of a, maybe an aesthetic break, or some nature scene to clear their mind in the break area. It really has a way of changing the mood in a room. And I like that. I think it's kind of fun.
And I've only been here since June of 25, but one of my favorite things is kind of the opposite direction. I think it's so cool, the really small random projects we get. Like that one guy that was like, can you put my company logo, like, he wanted us to make it so small so he could put it on like sunglasses lens, because he was having like a company outing. And Amani, that's our graphic designer, she was like, well, let's see if our plot cutter would even read it. And they read the cut lines, and Jorge weeded it out. We put it on it. That means like, that was so cool that now you have the technology and everything's come so far to do it not so quickly. Because back in the day, it would have taken who knows how long to have to do all that.
Well, I think just building off of that, that's what makes this business never get boring, right? Because people come in here with their sometimes crazy but always interesting projects that they want to get done. And almost no two projects are the same. And they all involve some sort of problem solving to try to figure out how to do it, whether it's the size or the material or where it's going to be installed. And so that's what keeps it really fresh every day.
Right. So since you've had this for 10 years, what is the biggest sign you ever made here in house in your shop?
Well, I can think of two. One was the Farmer Joe's sign up in Oakland. And I don't know, what are the dimensions on that sign? It's probably like 16 feet by 9 feet or something.
Yeah, 16 feet wide, 9 feet high. We did it, cut vinyl on aluminum, shaped aluminum, gigantic sign that we had to build a frame for. And then we kind of did it. It was kind of, I mean, it was hard to do on the ground. And then it was mounted 30 feet in the air on the Farmer Joe's in Rock Ridge. So that's a cool.
The other really big one I remember doing is, thinking of sign more expansively, as we wrap vehicles too. And we wrapped a 9-shower trailer for church, an Adventist church out in Pleasanton. They bring this trailer with showers in it around to different unhoused camps or people that need it. And it was just a really long vehicle. And so to get the opportunity to wrap that was pretty cool, and to try to figure out how to go around all the doors to get into the different cubicles for the showers was pretty tricky.
Now, one thing, because I think it's really cool if you can talk more about who we do it for and the product. I like the braille stuff we make for the kids at school, the blind children. Those things are really cool.
Lighthouse for the Blind is a business here in Alameda. One of their offices is here in Alameda, and they've designed some stuff, and they worked with Amani on how our printer works to bring layers so that they can not only do braille, but they can also do textures.
Right.
So they can have dinosaurs, different animal skins, or feathery
palm trees,
and they can
stuff.
we can our printer can build these layers up, and then Amani can work with their artist to, this is what we need from you to get those textures that you want.
Right.
And Amani made a giant board with hundreds, if not 1,000 textures on it that she's kind of got cataloged so that people can feel it and feel what they want, and then let us know this is the kind of texture we want to get out of this.
And so to get that raised, the braille and even the texture, the printer just keeps going over it multiple times.
Back and forth as many 25 or more times. And it builds it up, each layer builds it up. And then once we get to the height, and that's the art of that. Like Amani's got, it's really an art to be able to put that into the computer so that the computer tells the printer how to make the texture. That's something that's why we have somebody like Amani here who can do that, because that's an art form on its own.
Yeah, she's amazing. And Carrie, can you talk more about what they use them for? I think that is really cool there.
Yeah, so those went to the Palo Alto Children's Museum, where they've got a big outside dinosaur exhibit and garden. So they just wanted to make it accessible for all kids, seeing or not, right? Because even the kids whose vision was fine love to touch things, right? So they want to know what a dinosaur feels like or what a real palm tree feels like. So those signs were all over that museum there, and it's a pretty cool exhibit if you ever get a chance to go.
I'm a big kid. Every time we do them in the shop, I always want to run up and touch them and feel it. It's cool. So it's just like we're saying, like we'll do like a spider on there, and then you can go and like you close your eyes and you feel it, and it feels like a spider. Now I don't know what the braille's saying, but I'm assuming that it says spider. Okay, so any advice to anyone out there thinking about getting into the sign business?
Yeah, I'd say, it's changed we've only been in it 11 years now, but I think it's changed over the last 25, 30 years, where it's gone from sort of tell me what you want and I'll go make it, to much more of a consultative approach with our clients, where they're not entirely sure. They know what outcome they want, they just don't know how to get there. So I think, if you're thinking about getting into the business, having that good customer interaction, problem solving skills with clients to help them figure out what the right solution is for them will serve you well.
What about you, Ed?
Well, I think it's just the technology. It's gone digital. It used to be the old guy went out and painted with his brush on the glass, and that you could still do that, but it's going to cost 10 times as much now because of the labor involved of a guy going out there and laying everything out. Whereas we do things digitally, we can show the client a mock-up. They approve it, we cut it out, and then the guy goes and puts it on the glass, and it takes a half an hour or an hour as opposed to 4 or 5 hours.
Right.
And so that's the one thing, is that it's all gone digital. Even big signs are digital. The giant signs that we print or we create here, they're all basically digitally made.
Right.
The beauty of that for us is that we can show the client exactly what they're going to get. Again, it's a less artistic, and it's not as cool as a lot of these old signs, but that's just, the older signs are way more labor intensive than the ones that we do, because it's digital versus hand drawn or hand painted.
Exactly. Now we live in the age of just get it quick, get it easy, get it up, and then when it fades, we'll get another one on there. So, and here's the big question here, because our listeners might not know, but you guys, you're also married couples. So, any advice to married couples that want to go in business together? What's the biggest?
Don't do it.
And tell everyone how long y'all been married. Y'all been married, for a while.
26.
No.
Coming on
30.
30. Oh, edit that out. 31. I was thinking 25, but it was was 30 last year, so it's 31, right?
It'll be 32 this year.
32.
Yeah, 32 this year. We've been married more than half my life.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary. Yeah, so actually, we work pretty well together in business, both because I think we both have a pretty thick skin. So we can, pop off at each other and not really take it personally most of the time. And also because we have really different areas of expertise, competence, and we respect what the other has. So, one thing that Ed's really taught me from the beginning is he's never really worried about getting paid. He's always happy, like, help somebody out. Everybody loves Ed because he's always, everyone calls up, hey, I'm a friend of Ed. For me, that's focused on the bottom line. I pay the bills, I pay the payroll, so I got to know where all the money is. That was really hard, but honestly, it's paid us back over the years because he's just built so much goodwill that, somebody's mom passes, he does a free, poster for them for the memorial, and then they come back as part of their employment and give us a big order, right? So back to your original questions, how to make it work with couples. I think you have to understand what your strengths are, what your spouse's strengths are, learn from them and respect them, and then not micromanage each other.
Divide and conquer. Divide things up, and don't step on the other person's things. Let them do what the things that they're good at, do the things you're good at. The first rule of starting a business is start a business while your spouse is still working. If they can pay the bills at home, you can focus on the business and you can put money back into the business, buy new equipment, expand, and do that kind of thing. And that's how we got three very expensive pieces of equipment, is that we were able to take what we started with and we kept on reinvesting, coming back into the business and not taking a bunch of money out to pay the bills at home. Because Carrie worked for 8 years of the business. And once we were up and running and solid, she was able to retire from her day job and then come work here full time.
And only have one job instead of two jobs.
There you go.
That's pretty nice.
That's pretty great. That's great advice there.
Yeah.
And then like I said, I've been here since June, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed working in the sign industry. It's a whole new world. Like you said, people come in with requests and you're like, wow, I never even thought of something like that.
So let me turn the tables on you, Zach. What's the biggest thing you've learned being like undercover in the sign industry now? Before you didn't know signs, now you do. What was the biggest learning for you?
For me, it's like I was doing it when I was at my older job at the wharf this Sunday. I like learning all these materials now. And then I felt kind of like not a big shot, but I like to talk now. I was like, oh, yeah, that's AC. Put a vinyl thing on there, just kind of talking, out of my ass a little bit. I do. It's really cool. What I just love learning, especially when I spend time with Jorge, like what these machines can do, what we can do as a shop, and I saw that when we had the 10-year anniversary. That you guys, a lot of people came through, done a lot of cool stuff for them, and like you say here, we really don't like to say no. We just try to figure out how if we can do it, pull it off, and and also if the customer can afford it.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, I haven't been here even a whole year, and we've already done some really cool projects. It's a fun world. You think signage, how interesting can it be? But when you get into it, it's really interesting. Yeah. And then you can go all around and you're like, I did that, or our shop did that. So I think this is cool. I like, this is our first episode, so hopefully we look forward to doing the second one. We'll get these out once a month or more, maybe, who knows. But hope you've enjoyed, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.